Hi learners, today we are going to see about the topic servlets. Servlets are basically the Java programs that run on server. These are the programs that are requested by the HTML documents and are displayed in the browser window as a response to the request. So, if a request is made by the client, then the server serves the information through the servlet. The server class is initiated when the web server begins the execution. The execution of the servlet is managed by the servlet container, for example, Tomcat. The servlet container is used in Java for dynamically generate the web pages on the server side. Therefore, the servlet container is the part of a web server that interacts with the servlet for handling the dynamic web pages from the client. So, dynamic web pages are nothing but the interactive web pages in which the client can make request and the server can make the response. Servlets are most commonly used with HTTP, that is Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Has been sometimes servlets are also called as HTTP servlet. So the main purpose of servlets is to add up the functionality to a web server. So let us see the working of the servlet. So when a client makes the request for some servlet, he or she actually uses the window browser in which the request is written as a URL. Then the web browser then sends this request to the web server. The web server finds the requested servlet. The obtained servlet gathers the relevant information in order to satisfy the client's request and builds a web page accordingly. So, hence the response is given to the client. This web page is then displayed to the client, thus the request made by the client gets satisfied by the servlets. So here in the example, a client makes HTTP request to the web server. So then the web server finds the servlet which is appropriate for the client's query. Then the servlet handles the request and response object, then builds the web page according to the user information, that is client's request, then as the HTTP response. So then the client can see the requested information on the browser, such as that web page displayed on the web browser. So what are all the needs and advantages of the servlet? The first one, servlets can process and store the data submitted by an HTML form. Servlets are useful for providing dynamic contents. For example, retrieving and updating the database. So you can add any information or get any information from the database. Servlets can be used in the cookies. What does mean by cookies? Cookies are some small programs which can make use of the information submitted on the currently accessed web page. Similarly, servlets are used in session tracking. The session tracking is nothing but the user have useful programs that keeps track of all previously accessed to the web pages. So let's move on to the advantages of the servlet. The servlets are very efficient in their performance and get executed in the address space of the belonging web server. The servlets are platform independent, that is, it can work on any platform and can be executed on a different web servers. The servlet's working is based on request response, that is, any HTML form can take the user input and can forward this input to the servlet. The servlets are then responsible for communicate with the backend database and manipulate the required business logic. These servlets embedded on the web server using Servlets API. Servlets provide a way to generate the dynamic document. For instance, a servlet can display the information of current user logged in, his login time, his last access, total number of access he made so far, and so on. Multiple user. Using servlets, multiple user can give requests and get response from the servlets. So if there is an advantage, there are some possibilities of disadvantages also. So let us discuss the disadvantages of the servlet. So servlet is a mixture of Java skills and web related HTML skills. Hence it is difficult to write servlets. So it slows down the application execution. The Java runtime environment is required on the server if you want to execute servlet application. So these are all considered as the main disadvantages of the servlet. So let us move on to the topic servlet lifecycle. The servlet lifecycle contains three important methods. First one init, second one is service, third one is destroy. So if a browser makes a request to the servlet, the servlet can be categorized into three methods. First one init, second one is service, then again destroy. The service method mainly is for providing response to the web browser. So the client enters the URL in the web browser and makes a request. The browser then generates the HTTP request and sends it to the web server. So what are the works done by the web server? The web server maps this request to the corresponding servlet. So first one, the init method. The init method, the server basically invokes the init method of the servlet. The method is called only when the servlet is loaded in the memory of the first time. Using this method, initialization parameters can also be passed to the servlet in order to configure itself. Service method. Server can invoke the service for a particular HTTP request using the service method. The servlets can then read the data provided by the HTTP request with the help of service method. Then a third one, the destroy method. So finally, the server unloads the servlet from the memory using the destroy method. Thank you.